Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast post-Labor Day edition for September 3rd, Tuesday, 2019, alongside my pal and partner, Ian Ferguson. I am Pat Contry.
You are.
We'll be talking about lots of fun stuff like Disney, Lion King combo, retro gaming pack, Retrobit re-releases, Evercade arcade handheld, the Switch covert dock, sounds like something else could be, the really mind-boggling NBA 2K My Team gambling trailer, and a Patreon poll topic. Real quick, we got a t-shirt, Ian.
We do.
And more than a t-shirt, sticker, hoodie. You got 3 weeks left. Go to teespring.com/my-man-cu podcast. Unfortunately, it's not all one word, but it's my-man.cu podcast, and you can order this nice shirt there. There's 3 weeks left on it. It's Pat as Cyborg Man, and Ian as the man from Atlantis, Aquaman.
That's right.
There, with his flowing locks. Your hair is about 4 feet long in that.
Oh yeah,
picture.
It's massive.
You should go for that nice orange hair there. Well, you got a reddish tint in your hair. You have auburn hair. Is it auburn? It's at least sandy blonde.
It's something.
At least there. The Super Nintendo book, Ian. It's getting printed right now. It's getting cobbled together with hammers and chisels.
Oh, good.
They're chopping down trees, and they're hoping that it's going to start. It's going to ship to the mainland later this month, and then it'll arrive at the warehouse hopefully later in October. That's the key there. It'll arrive at the warehouse and they start shipping out. You can go to ultimatesnes.com right now to pre-order the physical one or order the digital one, which I still have to send you the digital one. I keep forgetting. Not that you would read it. But anyway. And then we're going to be at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, Ian. We're going to be there.
We will.
The event's the 18th through 20th of October. The 18th is more like the arcade warm-up day.
Right.
And the festivities really begin the 19th and 20th. Go to retrogamingexpo.com. It's a fantastic event. Pinball machines, as far as the eye can see. Arcade games.
I think they're saying something like 200 this year.
Arcade games?
Pinball machines.
200 pinball machines.
I told you, they said they're expanding it by like 30,000 square feet.
That's an expansion.
Yes.
Because that's like you're approaching pinball. You know, the pinball museum in Vegas has
you're beating it at that point. I think there's like 135 to 155 at the Vegas museum.
Wow. And you beat that, and that place is incredible. At that point, you have like every major pinball machine that ever came out.
Yeah.
Plus some of those weird knockoff-looking Rambo ones in the mid-'80s. What was that company?
Premier. Gottlieb. It was Gottlieb.
It was Gottlieb?
Under the Premier banner.
Under a cheaper banner doing those. Yeah. So lots of fun stuff happening. And then the not-for-resale documentary should be for sale on Blu-ray by Portland. We'll see about that. That'll be fun there. So Ian, controversy the past week. It's something we felt we should respond to. I almost feel like we should apologize for how we spoke about the Intellivision Amico.
Because we weren't harsh enough.
I am blinded, and I now see that we should not be critical at all
of anything
of a new console coming out based upon a IP that hasn't been popular since 1981.
But you got the price wrong.
I got the price wrong, which I corrected in that original YouTube video comment, and then the second I corrected myself. So, but because I said that, I apologize. All our points are now moot and invalid.
Yes. Because
I got the price wrong.
I also apologize for saying that it's digital only when apparently there might be physical games released for it, but we don't know.
In all seriousness, Tommy Tallarico, went after us on Twitter. This is the latest way I can put it, and it got more onerous. He took on Ben Shapiro qualities. He actually said, debate me.
Yes.
Did you see that one tweet?
Yes, he said, debate me.
And even Mike Kennedy never said debate me. He just called us drunken. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really, it wouldn't be a debate. It would just be a difference of opinion of where we think the market is for a console that isn't even out yet for at least 14 months, by the way. So it's not like there's a track record we can even go off of for a new company like this. And it is a new company. This is a restart. this is a reboot of a brand, that's been kicked around and hasn't been really utilized besides, putting out, packs of old games,
Right.
So, I mean, how are you supposed to judge what they're doing here? All I know is this, Ian.
We're allowed to have an opinion, and if you don't think there's enough info out there, then it probably started too soon. But I'm allowed to form an opinion off of info that's out there.
The website is paltry, and that's putting it lightly. The website has more room dedicated to pictures of colored console variants in CG mock-ups versus the actual information that we are supposed to have or being criticized for not having.
But this system is going to be different because it totally didn't make a huge deal out of announcing color variations at E3.
So it has, for example, I'll run through the website because this is really quick, and I'm not reading press releases. No one reads press releases, by the way. Press releases go to website, they get churned out real quick, and after that, you forget about them.
Your website is supposed to give us the info we need.
Easy touch screen, disc and motion controls. Okay. Effortless menu screen system. I have no idea what that means because to me, any menu screen should be effortless. Games focused on all skill levels. Okay. The Karma trademark gaming engine. Any information on that on the website? I don't know. I don't see it. Interactive lighting guidance system. I guess it means LED lights on the console.
Cool. It's ritzy looking.
Affordable. Under $200. Mea culpa. In the first video, I said 200 to 250 or 200 to 300, and then it's under 200. Okay, it's under 200. After tax and shipping, it'll probably be $200. After that. And we're not even talking about extra controllers or anything else you might need to get up and running there. Games, $3 to $10. Okay, we knew that. I don't think we spoke out of turn with that. I think we said something like that range.
Originally, they were supposed to be $3 to $8.
$3 to $8. So okay.
And there was something that I read somewhere that said if there are physical games, they would probably have to break that $10 barrier. Okay, which is fine. That's understandable. Just making sure we get all the information.
Yeah, make sure that we parrot everything on the website here. That looks like it was coded in 1999. 5-packing games. Which we mentioned last time there'll be 5-packing games. So
apparently we'll hear about those at E3 2020.
Okay, so, great. All right, no DLC, in-app purchases, loot boxes, or ads. Where have I heard that before? It starts with a C, ends with a chameleon. Family, all games rated. We went through this before. Family, no violence or bad language. Games everyone can play. Positive reinforcement, parental controls. Don't know what that means. So
that sounds like never mind.
Diverse and unique game library. Curated, quality controlled games. Again, that sounds familiar. Connect up to 8 mobile devices with free app. Okay, that's interesting to see how that's going to work. And I'm guessing that means for extra puzzle games or party games where they become extra controllers. That's actually the only interesting thing I've read so far on this website.
And there are lots of games that already do that on like the PlayStation 4, like the Jackbox party games.
And Brental Floss's Use Your Words game does that. It interfaces with the TV and different controllers. So it's not new tech. It's cool to see it used. It's actually kind of hard to get that going. Top-notch developers. Okay, the biggest licensed intellectual properties. Earthworm Jim is not the biggest licensed intellectual property. Neither is Shark. But I just think that's funny to see. Blah, blah, blah. And as you can see, these are all just words here with no examples of anything. There's no video of any of this in operation. Again, we are at least 14 months out from the release of a console, yet we are the ones that are getting attacked. And we're getting attacked in the strangest of places, Ian.
Yeah. So Tommy and his army of ad hominem loving yes men on the Atari Age Intellivision board, it was humorous because they immediately went to attacking our looks because they don't have any information they can use to back up why this is going to be a massive success either. So sorry for being critical of your product, but that doesn't mean I was coming after you personally. You can't take criticism. It's hilarious how little you can take criticism, which is why you're hiding in your Atari Age board surrounded by people who are just effortlessly nodding their head up and down and saying, yes, Tommy, this will be great.
And they like that, Tommy's doing a lot of these interviews with one of the individuals he did an interview with went after us, David Giltitan? David Giltitan, that's a tough name to pronounce.
I thought it was Gillibrand.
Whatever. He used to be the editor of Retro Magazine for Mike Kennedy. And when the Coleco Chameleon kerfuffle was happening, David took it upon himself to parrot whatever Mike Kennedy said and attacked people like me and you as being conspiracy theorists about the console, even after the New York toy show happened.
Yep.
When it was clear at that point that it wasn't just a bad idea, it was at that point a scam. At that point in time.
But he held on until the end.
He held on until the end, and then he had the balls to attack me on Twitter, which I thought was like, wow, dude, really? Okay.
Yep, and then you brought up him throwing us under the bus for something that we were right on, and he said, I don't have time for this.
That's in the past.
That's in the past. I don't have time for this.
That's in the past. Can't talk about that now. Zero credibility to interview anyone in the video game sphere forever at that point. To me, you should be out of the industry at that point. I'm not going to mix words about it.
Falling in line with falling in line behind a console that you haven't seen anything of without any questions is not something that you easily write off. It makes you a hack.
So this is my point. If what you are celebrating is Tommy communicating on the internet in podcasts or videos with people of that caliber who have no journalistic integrity or even common sense to even conduct a critical interview, then you have nothing at this point that I want to hear about. I mean, absolutely nothing. Words are meaningless when it comes to products that are 14 months in advance. This isn't like he brought up, well, what if Doug Bowser wanted to talk to them? Would they turn down Doug Bowser? No, because Nintendo's a company that's been around for over 100 years, putting out products consistently with an extremely great track record.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different than
but that makes us fanboys.
It's different from a new startup for a console that's still in prototypical form, if you want to say that we have little information on that we can go off of. It's a little bit different. And it's surprising that in the matter of 1 or 2 years, when people loved our commentary on Atari Age, I'm not saying all Atari Age people, because even Albert, who runs Atari Age, was disgusted by us being attacked physically, and he weighed in saying you can't do that anymore.
Physically?
People make fun of our physical looks.
Oh, yeah, that, sure.
They said I weighed 50 pounds dripping wet, which I've never been accused of being skinny in my life, which I think is hysterical, by the way. But I just think it's funny that they have Tommy on the thread here. We'll link the thread, and all of a sudden it's like, oh,
yes,
oh, Amico.
Anyways, it's a weird group of cheerleaders.
It's weird. It's really weird, and it's getting harder and harder for me to be impartial now in terms of me wanting this to be a success or fail the more I get attacked by Tommy Tallarico. That's all I'm going to say.
Because we had the gall to not immediately say this is going to be the best thing ever.
And apparently we know nothing about pre-NES consoles, or as I do, even though,
No, the Atari 5200 definitely isn't one of my favorite consoles.
It's not like we had a show called The Video Game Years that started in 1977, and we talked about all the old games that Tommy himself was on this show, and none of it makes sense. It's whatever narrative you want to construct about us being haters for something where Ian publicly said, and I said, we don't want to fail. This is why we don't think it's a good idea. And because we're not cheerleading something that...
I've also vocally on this podcast criticized Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and just about every other major player in the console game. So the hide your head in the sand and say we're fanboys excuse doesn't cut it.
So one person said, by the way, there was no in this thread, unlike the Chameleon and the Retro VGS, there was no links to our commentary, which I thought was cute. I wonder if it wasn't allowed, or they said no, we can't have anything negative at all here. But the one person that did say they think we didn't say anything unreasonable about the Amico last episode. Tommy just came off a podcast where he convinced a doubter, and several of you praised him for the interview. And then everyone started going in about why we were wrong. And Tommy had to nail in about what he's trying to do here. He said, let the hardcores hate and not understand all they want. It doesn't affect our mission or goal at all. And again, once they actually play it and see their non-gaming friends having fun together, they'll all of a sudden start to understand what we felt growing up and what has been missing for over a decade in the gaming industry.
I have a lot of non-gaming friends that have had fun with the Switch. A lot of family-friendly games on that, too. But hey, pointing that out makes me a fanboy.
You're a fanboy now, Ian. Well, you're an anti-fanboy. You're an anti-Intellivision hater. You don't know anything about the Intellivision or anything before the NES.
Don't know anything.
I never played Mousetrap with my cousins or played Pole Position on the 7800. I don't know what I'm talking about. I never played arcade games that came out before the NES. I didn't do any of that. We're gatekeeping, Ian. We're anti-gatekeeping. We're gatekeeping So it's fun. I'll link it here. Tommy was talking about how we're not being fair at all to him. The point. This is the point. That is the point people are trying to make, and why they are attacking Pat the Punk and the long-haired dude.
My name's Ian, Tommy. It's not hard to look up.
Tommy, you might have met Ian, I think. Did you meet before?
No, I don't think I met him, but still, it's not hard to find my name. But hey, I understand how this goes.
Okay, I think Tommy's made it personal officially. Can you say that?
Well, he took it personal from the minute go, or the word go, because we had doubts.
They keep giving bad info. They are unwilling to have a normal adult and mature conversation about it. This is a guy who said debate me on Twitter, wants to have a mature conversation. Instead, they'll keep giving bad info based on the wrong data they have because they are too lazy to do 10 minutes of research. I just went to the website, Tommy. There's nothing there that still convinced me that this is a good idea. I'm sorry. There's nothing there.
And I don't need insider info. Like, if we need insider info to suddenly think this is a good idea, then it should probably be on the website.
Easier to just turn the cameras on, hate it, and then get into a Twitter war to get more views. Tommy, this isn't me being arrogant. More people know who I am on YouTube than you are. I'm not getting more views based upon talking about you versus people that already know me. That's just silly. They should be ashamed of themselves for the way they've handled this.
Shame.
Oh my God.
Shame.
It's embarrassing. But we're the ones that should be embarrassed. Because we're not just, we're not drinking the Kool-Aid that everyone else is, apparently, when it comes down to this. Okay.
All right. Anyways, that's probably good.
So I'm going to say this. I might have to downgrade Atari Age from sandwiches to just like a couple appetizers you'll have to share. I still love you, Atari Age, but this is
don't throw the whole Atari Age.
No, I'm not.
Bus.
But it's disappointing that they're not really allowing any sort of negativity at all. Oh, okay. The last post. The Amico will not find, this is not me saying this, but this is just stuff we've said. The Amico will not find much brand association with the younger audience. The majority of the public under the age of 40 have no clue or what Intellivision is or was. I would say that's correct, Ian.
Yes.
Remakes and more modern takes on old games isn't a new thing. The Intellivision name wouldn't even need to be part of this venture to be successful, in my opinion. It's there, sure, and Tommy is very passionate about it for sure, but old Intellivision owners are not going to make this thing successful.
Yeah, you could call it anything, and Intellivision's not going to. It's not going to matter. It's going to have the same chances of success.
The masses don't give a shit about Shark or really any of the original Intellivision IPs of old. They'll be fun to play, I'm sure, but the majority of people will not be running with wallets open to play such games based on previous positive enjoyment with those titles. I would agree, Ian.
Yes, I would agree.
Earthworm Jim, now you're talking. I'm not totally on board with that, but okay. That has potential to be a system seller. Thing is, Earthworm Jim isn't known to have association with Intellivision at all. Real quick, this is what I'm going to say. From what we know that this is not going to be a system even probably near close to the power of Nintendo Switch, from what we've heard. And we'll be shocked if it is. I don't know how complex of an Earthworm Jim game you're going to get. That's all I'm going to say. Again, Intellivision means nothing special, means nothing in that regard. Amico is better off standing on its own, as most people won't have a clue, and there'll be a fair number who might remember Intellivision in a negative manner for whatever reason. He's absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Not everyone remembers Intellivision remembers it to be good. We always remember that that's such a weird system that the Atari beat up, and that no one remembers anymore. The main one was often called a horrible controller. I'm liking a lot of what I've seen in the videos of the Amico. I remember Intellivision from back in the day, but I'm also one of the people who hate the original controller. I look at the new controller and I'm worried about it based solely on my previous use of the original Intellivision controller.
Well, I would like to insert something here. For a system that's supposed to appeal to non-gamers and family, it's keeping a lot of strange things that would definitely only appeal to people who had it when they were growing up. This whole thing has a very split. It's for this, but then why is everything appealing to this older collector?
There's no reason for it to look like an Intellivision controller. The disc pad was awful to use. It's not precise. It's like floaty a little bit, and the side action buttons really limit your enjoyment of playing a game or like a platformer. Try playing Super Mario Brothers, a game like that with side buttons like that.
And if we don't have all the insider info we need about the controller, you probably should have thought about how people are going to look at that controller and go, That doesn't look like a very good controller to use.
What is the only, off the top of my head, the only reason why you'd want to repeat an Intellivision controller is so that you could have a new experience of the old way you played Intellivision games, which would be the overlays, right? Look down at the overlays for games, and you press the buttons that are associated with it, right? Am I wrong?
Which I thought was the coolest thing about it when it was announced.
Okay, but that's only going to be for your Intellivision remakes for the most part, right?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be more.
They'll think of more games where it's really intuitive while you're playing to look down at your controller to press buttons. It's horrible to do that to begin with, and if that's the type of game experience you want, I don't think many people like that. I just don't in this day and age. The overlays thing is kitschy. It's cool. The Intellivision used it, and then the ColecoVision used it.
Atari 5200.
5200. That's right. How
a system that I don't love, that I definitely know nothing about. But anyways.
You don't love the 5200.
I was joking. Remember, we don't like anything pre-Nintendo?
No, we don't. I don't love the ColecoVision myself. Anyway, so you can't bank on 40-year-old games being remade to sell a console that's going to cost you $200, especially by the time this comes out next year. You're going to have, the Switch Lite's $200, right? You have the PS5 is going to be out next year. You're going to have maybe the next Xbox console out next Christmas as well. And then that means the Xbox One's going to be lowered in price. The PS4 is going to be lowered in price. This is what the Amico's competing with when it comes out.
But we're fanboys for saying that.
At $200.
Fanboys.
$200 to play mobile quality games.
We're fanboys for pointing this out.
Have fun spending $200 to play an updated Shark. Have fun out there doing that. We'll see how long that makes the system last in the ecosystem.